And there's been a crash at the back here. There's a dramatic crash at the back, and that was just going round one of these corners, and I do not know how that happened at all. This is really remarkable. I think this is Kessler.
Well, here we have, this is how it happened, and it's amongst the break, and in fact, oh dear me, Kessler took a very nasty tumble there, and it was in fact David Cañada locked up, seeing the reaction at the front. Well, that is a bad crash, and this looks as though Cañada suspects he's broken his collarbone.
Phil, these roads, we said earlier, are treacherous roads on the road of the Tour de France. They're very slippy in these conditions. A lot of them have been re-gravelled. He wants the doctor to look at that collarbone. Look again, he was going round the corner, and the front wheel just goes. When that happens, you can do nothing, and Kessler had nowhere to go. He was fully locked up. He wasn't going to go down at all, then all of a sudden the barrier's in the way, straight over the top, and he went down pretty hard.
Well, Kessler, I'm hoping he's going to get up. Look at the jersey here on David Cañada. Cañada slammed his back brake on because he saw the problem at the front of the rider going in, and he completely locked up and fell. He's taken out Kessler, who has piloted over his bike into the bushes. Everybody is over there with Matthias Kessler. Well, you're going along in a breakaway of 6. Everything is working completely normally, and then this happens.
Well, I'm wondering if there's another rider gone down there as well, because that is the Cofidis team manager there on the right-hand side. So if that team manager of Cofidis is there, Rick Verbrugge could well be down there too. I think it was Verbrugge who was taking them around the corner, and he was the one that got the wrong line. And it was, let's see again now, it's Verbrugge at the front, you see, completely wrong line. Yeah, Verbrugge was the first man to lose it, a fraction there. Let's have a look there, just at the front, and he went right over. Kessler's further back. This is amazing. This has a lot to do with fatigue. It's a lot to do with the road surface. And the man who was just behind there, I don't know how he missed it. The rider in second place was the rider from De Vitamon. That was Mario Ertz, and he only just got round Rick Verbrugge. Well,
he's a Belgian cyclist, and they're known for their expert bike handlers, but Verbrugge also. There's poor old Rick down there now. That's a very nasty crash for Rick Verbrugge, and I think by the look of it he is out of the Tour de France there, because he was the one that lost his line, and then Cañada saw him lose his line, overreacted, and caused the ricochet crash at the back.
Well, the overreaction combined, of course, with the road surface was very slippery indeed, caused the front wheel of Cañada to go away. Then you can't control it. Once the front wheel's gone, you've completely lost it.
A little bit tired here now. They are shooting off the peloton here now, one after another. Well, you can get away is one thing, but keeping it going is another here. That rider's legs just suddenly exploded.
Well, that was a rather strange move there. I think the teammates are all getting a little bit excited.
Look how thin the peloton is. It's been completely shattered on this climb. But these two riders are still setting the pace. Their lead now barely a minute. If they can just get over the top, it's going to be a real dramatic chase down. Mario Ertz is still clear, but he can't be far ahead. The peloton must be just behind him. When we get back to the peloton, we will try and see just who, if anybody, is missing that matters today. Here we are. Well, we've still got the top man on the right there for the Netherlands, Michael Bogart. Landis is still here. The Maillot Jaune is still here.
And what about the brave man of the Pyrenees, David de la Fuente? He's right in there as leader of the King of the Mountains classification, Phil. Double points on this climb here because it's the last climb of the day and it's a second category climb. So he will be looking to keep himself in the lead in that competition. But Michael Rasmussen wasn't too far away. He wants to win.
But that explains why that rider from Saunier Duval put in an attack and found he hadn't taken with him the man he wanted to take, which was David de la Fuente. So he had to go back into the pack, trying to lead him out early for the climb. I think it was too early, frankly.
Just a little bit too early. These riders all getting very excited now. There is Sylvain Calzati at the back now, number 34, the man who was the hero when we went on the first day through to the Pyrenees. Rasmussen in the middle. You can see now that Team Discovery taking a serious interest at the front of the race as Chavanel at the arrière de la course, the back of the race, is trying to catch up.
There's quite a race going on at the front of the peloton now, and they're trying to lead out the King of the Mountains for the points. But Michael Rasmussen from Rabobank, the defending champion of the King of the Mountains, is right with him. So those two are going to catapult themselves out when it comes to the sprint.
Well, the race situation now is these two leaders have a minute's advantage over the man who was with them a while back, Mario Ertz, and a minute 22 still over the main field, but you can almost see the difference in the speed. Fedrigo coming to the front, digging deep. He knows they've got to get over the summit of this climb, and then it's pretty much downhill now. Rasmussen's decided, I'm going, my mate. I'm going to get the points here.
Well, Rasmussen's making himself known. That's a sure point, but he's still gone away in a little group of 4, and he's still got the King of the Mountains this year sitting right behind him. Remember, De La Fuente has an 18-point buffer over Dessel. Rasmussen is still 19 points behind in the King of the Mountains. Double points today, and that's going to mean a lot. Here they come. Last year's King of the Mountains on the front. The current King of the Mountains in his first Tour de France, De La Fuente, taking his slipstream.
Well, I tell you what, there's a rider up towards the front of this group as well who is riding very well. In fact, as Jose Luis Arrieta goes backwards here, it looked to me as if Jaime Zubeldia was riding pretty aggressively at the front end of that group.
Well, Jaime Zubeldia, we haven't seen him all day, but there is a rider. I think this is him now, and this is making his acceleration. There is Mario Ertz. He's back in the pack. There are only 2 riders left in the race right now, and this is Zubeldia setting the pace.
Well, Zubeldia there covered very rapidly by Michael Bogard. Michael Rasmussen not very far behind. A lot of riders. Oh, I can't believe what I'm hearing, that David De La Fuente's gone from the front to the back. He was on sur regime. He was in the red zone, Phil, and he's popped. What a shame.
He was taken right up to his limits there by Michael Rasmussen, and he couldn't hold it. He's gone backwards. Just looking back there now, this is the last climb. There's still about 15 minutes possibly to ride to the finish. As we see David De La Fuente, that's a sad sight on a climb. Well, he battled. Tired, he's hanging on in there.
He battled. What a great ride it would have been if he could got himself a few more points. He'll still be the leader of this competition, Phil, going down to the final, going into the Alps, because he's not going to lose his lead this afternoon. He'll just lose a certain portion of it. The 2 leaders still haven't got to the top of that climb. Comesso looks so strong. He's an aggressive animal on a bike. Fedrigo looks a lot better, a lot more comfortable. But if it comes down to the sprint, it's going to be dodgy trying to get round the Italian.
Well, this is turning out to be a nasty, long climb here. These 2 boys wish it was over right now and see if they've got a chance for the finish. The flag of Italy, the flag of the United States, indicating the drift in the wind. Is the Italian, former Italian champion leading. Even the flag of Ireland and England are flying there. What an international race this is. There's the top. Nobody needs to win it from these 2, but Salvatore Comesso looks as though he wants it. But now it's the plunge into gap, and that is what he wants, victory down there.
It's going to be difficult, though, because the last time check crackling through race radio is 45 seconds only left for these 2 riders, with 10 kilometers to go to the finish. Comesso looks across at the Frenchman. Have you got any power left in the engine room? Well, we better give it in right now, because we are only just going to survive. Maybe we won't now, as this is Michael Rasmussen accelerating to the front. Michael Bogard living him out. Get onto the wheel, mate, but look at the power of Michael Bogard.
There's the team cars of the 2 leaders. In fact, Bogard is trying to pick up Rasmussen. He'll move over if he can get Rasmussen, but he's gone too strong here. He's ripped away from the field, and he's not got Rasmussen on his back wheel at all, so he's finished it off. I reckon Rasmussen told him he didn't have the legs.
He may well didn't. The man up there with him as well is Frank Schleck. This could be the counter move that's going to steal the glory away from the front of this group.
35 seconds, the official time gap right now.
These are the 2 leaders now. They're hovering still at 20 seconds. That banner, if my maths is correct, should indicate 5 kilometers to go to the finish. And at speeds like this is going to be approximately 6 minutes of racing, because they're riding not far off 60 kilometers an hour down this descent. Comesso swings through, decides he needs to contribute to the success of his breakaway if they are going to hope to survive.
Well, as you look down there now, they're at 5 kilometers. That wasn't even 20 seconds, Paul. That was about 15 now. So they should have these 2 riders with about 3 kilometers to race.
Well, you know, Team Discovery have got 3 riders in that group behind, and I nearly thought about tipping George Hincapie for the win this afternoon. Hincapie, I never forget the fact, and a lot of people do, that in the early part of his team, in the early part of his career, he was renowned as being a very good bunch sprinter. You remember when we saw him get disqualified from a sprint in the Homestead? I thought that was very unfair of the referees at the time. He was only 19 years of age. But when he needs to, Hincapie can turn out a very good turn of speed. And he's got nothing else to race for in this Tour except stage victories.
Well, these two can tick off another kilometre. No time gained in kilometres 4 to 5. Still 20 seconds. Now it looks as though Team Discovery Channel have decided that they have the firepower here now.
Popovic and Acevedo, they've had the word, I think, from George Hincapie. This is Popovic on the front, Acevedo in second place. Look at the face. They want to nail him back. There's Christophe Moreau. Hincapie's in an ideal situation there in about 6th or 7th. You know, there's not many men left in this group. I don't think anybody expected the damage that the Calder Sentinel has actually done.
4th place in line, Cadel Evans of Australia watching. Remember, there are small time bonuses down there on the finish. There is a chance of just snicking a couple of seconds to go into the rest day. Psychologically, that would be a good result for these riders. And just tagging on to the back of the group here is Pietro Cauchioli. I haven't seen much of him. But there you see a counter move coming now from Agri Turble on the far side.
Well, everybody's moving. That one is very much covered by Michael Berger there in the red, white and blue champion of Holland, looking very comfortable, very aggressive. Hincapie responding to that, but let's not forget, they still have to catch these two men. They are still holding on to their advantage, but it is a very slim advantage. It's 15 seconds. That's not very much.
Under 3 kilometres to go. They've lost 5 seconds in 3 kilometres. If they continue to catch at that rate, the whole field will cross the line at exactly the same time. These are the riders. They're now at 3 seconds. That's about 10. That was 15 seconds they're confirming on race radio. Bogart has mastered the attack from the Agri Turbo rider. I think it was Benoit Salmon, but I'm not sure. Well, now they're all back together. 14 seconds.
Well, keep riding, keep riding. He's heard, he probably thinks that now as they get into the outskirts of Gap, the main field are now starting to figure out how to sort out their sprint. They had slowed down a fraction. I can't really call it the main field. It's really a front group of riders, the whole of the main favourites. And they've lost their impetus. This could now smile for the two leaders. All they need is a pause, a slowing down of the tempo in this group for a kilometre. These men will steal the show.
They've just sent an instruction, no motorcycles between the two leading riders in the pack, so we may find our cameraman has got to leave this situation. They want to give the maximum. That's a hard left-hander when you're on full flight, and they're going to have to come round that in the main field behind. And Fedrigo is saying, we're going to make this last, and Salvatore goes with him. It's going to be the tight left-hander. 2 kilometres to go, and they've got round the bend, have they?
They have all got round the bend safely, but it is still locked in at 1:5:15 seconds. Jaroslav Popovic on the front, Discovery. Now they've committed themselves. They want to get these two back. They've got to do it now. They have got to pull them back before the final kilometre if they want their man, Big George Hincapie, to get himself the victory. This man on the front, Jaroslav Popovic, Phil, has had a victory himself so far in the Tour today. He is sacrificing himself from the group. 1:03 seconds now, 13 seconds left.
13 seconds. Popovic is trying now to put George Hincapie into a situation to win this in the sprint. It is going to be a desperate finish because they haven't stitched it up yet. As they're racing now across the city of Gap here, these two riders have a chance. Camesso looks over his shoulder. How much effort should he put in now, or should he just wait? It's a difficult decision. He's going to keep watching.
Seasoned professional. He's playing a very dangerous game of poker here. He's sitting on the wheel of the Frenchman. That is 1,000 metres to go. Camesso has ceased working at the front, but behind he probably doesn't know that there's a very hard chase coming.
An attack
over to the left-hand side of the road. That's a bit of a dummy.
Down. They've slowed down as well. This could be the move they were waiting for. Somebody from CSC may have gone there, but you know, Camesso has moved to the front. Not a good position to win at the moment. They're still playing, but they've got a big chance now.
They've not got more than 10 seconds advantage. If they play around too much, if this becomes that little bit too tactical, Phil, in this part of the game, it will all come back together at 500 metres to go. Have they got enough? There is the group.
Any longer. That looks like Jens Voigt might be coming at them here, but it's certainly one of the CSC riders. And now this is a huge gamble here. Camesso wants to win, and he doesn't know what to do about this because he wants to lead out. It could be the big figure of Frank Schleck, also a desperate effort. He nearly catches them. I think they're going to make this. Which one is going to win? Camesso, it's a grimace or a smile on his face. Fedrigo is running the gauntlet, but he's showing great skill here. But you better watch out because Schleck is on the back wheel. And Schleck has got the bit between his teeth at 200 metres to go. Camesso is going to have to open up. And Fedrigo, has he got the legs to give France a third victory? This will be a huge result for Pierrick Pierrick Fedrigo, the champion of France. He's won the stage, and what a great finish as they come up to the line, and the sprint for third place. Well, on the line, it looks as though it might be Van der Velde was the man, not Schleck. It was Christian Van der Velde who almost got the win and takes third.
Well, Gap lived up to its name. Van der Velde just 3 seconds away from catching the front two. But Pierrick Fedrigo timed it perfectly to pip Salvatore Camesso and take the stage. Another 4 seconds behind those three at the head of a fast-closing chase was Christophe Moreau, Georg Tocznik and Stefano Garzelli behind him.